can be easily tested and have some record of that test.
In usual overreach liberal fashion, federal regulators announced they are working to establish digital credentials for Canadians without any parliamentary approval. The brazen move comes despite MPs consistently rejecting an electronic national identity system, citing concerns over cost and security. A recent notice from Shared Services Canada reveals a push to create a system for Canadians to prove their identities online, as detailed by BlackRock's reporter. Alarmingly, past research indicates that many Canadians are already distrustful of public institutions, making widespread adoption of such a system unlikely. The National Digital ID proposal likens digital credentials to mandatory IDs like social insurance numbers, suggesting they could facilitate interactions with public services. Yet, this is precisely what has been rejected by parliamentary committees for years. In 1999, a proposal for a digital ID was dismissed due to its potential cost and risk of abuse. A 2003 Immigration Committee report warned that such a system could lead to police stopping citizens for identity checks, a chilling prospect for personal freedom that is more reminiscent of a papers, please police state full of surveillance and the erosion of civil liberties that can easily accompany systems requiring mandatory identification. The events of the last few years serve as a stark warning, with the very real implementation of apartheid, segregation, and discrimination through digital ID. The weaponization of vaccine passports, for instance, demonstrated how quickly society can be divided and marginalized based on arbitrary criteria, and how easily removing people's top social determinants of health, their income, and social protection can coerce them into compliance with state-sanctioned experiments. This precedent underscores the urgent need for vigilance against the misuse of digital identification that could further erode fundamental rights, compromising privacy, and ensuring surveillance instead. This is confirmed by former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair in 2020, when he went so far as to say that people will need a form of digital ID so that they can prove their disease status as the world moves out of lockdown.
You can create a digital ID today that is much more easily protected, so you can deal with a lot of the privacy and surveillance issues that worry people. But it's a natural evolution of the way that we're going to use technology in any event to transact daily life. And this COVID crisis gives an additional reason for doing that. Because, look, I could be wrong about this, but when I look at, for example, how you restart some businesses, how you restart international travel, I think people's disease status, for example, have they been tested? What is the result of that test? Have they had the disease? Do they have the disease? I think unless you're able to record some of this data in a way that people can use, it's going to be difficult to go back to anything like a near normal in things like transport. So if you're going to start international travel again, how do you do that unless people can be easily tested and have some record of that test?
Despite the government framing digital ID as a solution to identity theft and as a solution to ensure your safety, the potential for misuse and overreach is high. With no clear checks and balances in place, Canadians must question whether this digital ID system is a step toward convenience or a slippery slope into unwarranted and unwanted surveillance. Although digital credentials are currently optional, it's very clear from funding incentives like those implemented through the COVID-19 Proof of Vaccination Fund that this optionality could be undermined at any time. This concern is amplified by initiatives like the Known Traveler Digital ID project, known as KTDI, where the federal government, two of Canada's busiest airports, and the largest airline are collaborating with the World Economic Forum, signaling a push toward more pervasive digital identification systems. Meanwhile, the alarming lack of oversight and undermining of democratic due process inevitably erodes public trust, as citizens feel increasingly vulnerable to arbitrary decisions in how their personal information is managed and collected. The whole idea of digital ID raises serious questions about privacy, accountability, and would undoubtedly reshape the landscape of Canadian identity and the ability to live free from state surveillance. For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini. If you want to help stop the implementation of government ID systems, please sign our petition at stopdigitalid.com. This slippery slope to a social credit score system should not be implemented. Take action today at stopdigitalid.com.
They are tying it now to certain government programs. So now it's like, if you want to collect unemployment insurance, you got to use the system. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, there's the first one. That's the first step. They implement and they make it mandatory. And then what they do is they just continue to lengthen what is mandatory. Eventually it'll be like, oh, you have a tax return? Would you like it? Yeah. Great. Get a digital ID. Oh, you didn't file your taxes. So then you can't have access to A, B, or C. I believe they're going to start connecting all these dots. If you don't have your digital ID, this is what this looks like. And then if you don't start towing the line, here are the ramifications. And then what happens? You turn into China. Mm-hmm. You have a social credit system. What's going to happen is this. You're going to have the people in the middle that are just like, I can't believe I have to deal with this, but they're going to comply. Then you're going to have the other people on the other end like us that are going to push back. And then you're going to have the other people that are going to be your typical, I've kind of been a loser my whole life, but now I have the opportunity for authority. Yeah. And they're going to be the same people that were yelling at you through COVID, telling you to get vaccinated, you're going to kill grandma. Those people are going to love this.
I love the Michael Malice quote about this where he says, low value individuals would love a social credit system because obedience is the only metric they can compete on.
Correct.
And I'm like, yeah, 100%.
And this is where I think it's going. Yeah, it's a little dark. Sure, I just jumped 5 steps ahead. And for people that argue, there are other countries that are already doing the same thing. Like I say, look at China. Well, look at the UK though. The UK is a democracy, quote unquote. So they're already going this direction. You already see what's happening. So yeah, maybe we land somewhere in the middle between China and the UK, but either way, it sucks.
Holy hell, it's actually happening. Digital IDs are coming to Canada while the border completely dissolves. Check out this video Mark Carney just released to announce the hiring of over 1,000 new officers at the border to keep you safe. Here's how I see this, much like the late great Rowdy Piper in They Live. Thug, 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 thug. That's a good boy. Thugs, 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 thugs. They've been hired and are not currently dealing with fentanyl or illegal immigration. No, their concern is paper plates. We're taking action to protect our economy. Canadian Border Services Agency is investigating whether certain imports of disposable paper plates, bowls, and platters from China are being sold at unfair prices in Canada, dumped or subsidized. They've launched an official investigation into the alleged dumping and subsidizing of certain thermoformed molded fiber tableware from China. Forget about the drugs or illegal migrants. Our bigger concern here is paper plates. Meanwhile, 4 North American airports have just been hacked with pro-Hamas Free Palestine messaging.
Fuck Netanyahu and Trump. Turkish hacker Cyber Islam was here. Telegramational Cyber Islam. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
And while all that's going on, here's what the Canadian airports are working on. Canada's airports are petitioning the Commons Finance Committee to introduce digital identification for domestic travelers. Current regulations require only that air passengers carry government-issued photo ID like a driver's license. It will enhance security. This is insanely draconian and a dystopian nightmare coming to fruition right before our eyes. In case you missed it, the UK has been leading the charge on this.
This government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID.
And in response to that, today, thousands of people took to the streets in the UK to demand an end to the surveillance state.
We say no to digital ID! We say no to digital ID! We say no to digital ID!
So, what say you, Canadians? Are you ready to get mad as hell or what?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
Don't scan your biometrics. Don't download their tracking apps. Get rid of your smartphone if you have to. It's not currently a law that you have to have one. Use cash like your life depends on it. And get your money out of the banks and into real tangible assets like gold and silver. Because it's crunch time, folks. For every step they take towards tyranny, we have to march on towards freedom. My friends, share this video far and wide and support real independent media like Press for Truth by visiting pressfortruth.ca/donate. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Click the thumbs up button and leave a comment. And stay tuned, my friends. I'm going to have more video reports coming soon while I still can, God willing. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.
Sometimes applying for government benefits can be a lengthy and complicated process. The Government of Canada's vision is to enable Canadians to use trusted digital identities for quick and easy access to online services. Emily's having a baby soon and is applying for benefits. Today, she has to complete an online application form, then wait 5 to 10 days for an access code. When it arrives in the mail, she will use it to create an account and set up direct deposit. What if she could do all this at once, from any device? She'd confirm who she is using her provincial or territorial trusted digital ID, consent to using personal information from her digital ID, and may choose to receive notifications. Once approved, she'd decide how to get paid. That's it. The government's goal is to enable simple, fast, and convenient access to services anytime, anywhere, on any device. We're working with government and the private sector to build the foundation and standards for digital identity across Canada and internationally. The future is closer than you think.